Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you, and today we are checking out The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure. Now, this game is so interesting to me. So I do a little bit of research before we do these reaction videos. And that's why if you watch some of my other videos, you'll see that we will not just be reacting to a single trailer, we'll be reacting to multiple, like the announcement trailer, will be in the announcement, the gameplay, the release date trailer, and stuff like that. And doing so, we get to see some interesting things about the history of the game that we're looking at. Sometimes we're like, wow, this game was shown off for the first time 10 years ago, right? And this is a game that I'm so glad that I got to do a little bit of research on, because before we even watch this, I want to tell you just a little bit about what this game is. This game, Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure, initially came out exclusive to Japan in like 2010, 2011. Now, the Legend of Heroes franchise, we've received in the West, in terms of English translations, a decent number of them. And so we're think of the games like Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel, stuff like that, right? And I think Trails of Cold Steel 4 just released like earlier this year. And largely, while the Legend of Heroes franchise is a JRPG franchise that is pretty well established, they have like 17 games or something like that. It's significant. They're never massive the way that games like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, or even now Persona is in terms of getting mainstream attention in the West. And so Legend of Heroes is starting to pick up steam as more and more people give more attention to JRPGs. So what is Trails to Azure? Like I said, it came out 10, 11, 12 years ago, and it was exclusive to Japan. It's like, oh, well, they're just bringing it to the West, right? Yes, but there's an asterisk, okay? Because there are communities that do fan translations of games for games that were never brought to their local language, right? Most common, which of course is English for games that were exclusive to Japan. Live Alive had this for a really long time until it finally got a remake and was put onto the Nintendo Switch very recently. Back in June is when it came out, and so that brought a cult classic RPG to the West. So there was a fan mod that required a pretty interesting amount of backwork, because you needed like Chinese ISO files in order to make the fan mod work. But from a site and a community called Geofront, they completely translated the entire game of Trails to Azure into a playable English version. And the developers were like, that's really cool. Are people actually interested in this? And Geofront was like, yeah, these are our download numbers. Please don't make us take it down. We put a lot of work into this. And they said, well, what if instead we used your guys' fan translation, the entire build, as an entire foundation for us just properly releasing this game in the West? Like, we're going to use your work, and we're going to incorporate it, and we're going to rebuild this game for a Western we're going to use your fan translation as the foundational work. I don't know if there was money involved. I don't know anything about that. But the fact that the company approached them and said, can we use your work because you've done such a good job, is incredible to me. So it happened quickly too. So this is the actual Geofront Fan Localization Hub's website. Trails to Azure, in terms of its full English 1.0 translation for a fan translation, released in May of 2021. And somewhere between then and now, they were approached by the company that makes these games. I think it's NIS. They were approached and said, hey, we would like to use your work. Because like if you go to the actual page, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Azure, it now has this license thing, and the download has been removed to support the NIS America release. So like there's a possibility that there's like some exploitation of labor and stuff going on there. I don't know. I didn't look too deeply into that. But as I was looking into this, I found that out, and I was like, that's just really cool. That's cool that a company recognized somebody else's work, and they didn't even tell them that they had to take it down. That they just took it down to support this because they wanted this game to get more attention and more support. So, yeah. Anyway, let's actually see what this game is. We have two trailers. We have the actual initial reveal trailer. Well, this is actually from the Geofront, so this is actually probably them revealing the English version. And then we have the actual character trailer that was the official, I guess the first initial official reveal an announcement for the official release of the game that happened back at Summer Games Fest. So we'll go ahead and look at the Geofronts trailer just to give them the credit that they deserve for the work that they did, and then we'll see if there is any discernible difference between what they did a year ago and what we're seeing in the official release today. So let's jump in. I would really hope they got paid. I hope so too, Fee. I really hope they got paid. They definitely deserve to get paid, especially if the company is giving the attribution that the Geofront release is the foundation of the official release. If they did this trailer, I'm impressed. This is a really good looking trailer if it's just a fan trailer, you know? If this is a fan trailer, like through and through completely, it's fucking amazing, right? I hope there's money involved. I agree, minimal. What the fuck was that? New Israeli shekel? I don't remember what NIS stands for. Like, the game is 12 years old, and it shows. But one of the things with JRPGs is unless it's like original Final Fantasy VIII, where the pixelized style just looks atrocious on modern screens, the gameplay and the stories always end up holding up, right? Because like that's one of the things about like turn-based RPGs is that they're relatively timeless. Does it show? It looks like all the other Legendary Heroes I've seen. The Trails of Cold Steel look different from this. Okay, so that was, if that's the fucking fan trailer, holy shit. Trails to Azure has been officially licensed in NIS America and is no longer available for download via the Geofront. Please support the official release. Interesting. I don't think we'll ever find out what that means, but I would like to know. Special support section. This looks exactly the same as the other one. Not quite, obviously. Compassionate political pundit, Ellie McDowell. What? You're a political pundit? All right. Star Officer of the Guardian Force, Noel Seeker. Delinquent by day, host by night, Wazi Hemisphere. That's a name. Orbital Technology Prodigy, Tio Plato. Seasoned Soldier and Charmer, Randy Orlando. Is he a charmer though? Is he, or does he just think he is? These are JRPGs we're talking about. Normally the charmer character is not a charmer. PS4. Like, it says PS5 down below, but that's just always there for anything that's on the PlayStation. This says PlayStation 4. I'm really, like, what all is this actually Oh, it's all okay. I was like, I thought I already had the Steam page open. I do. Look at me being all prepared and shit. All right. So yeah, we got a couple of extra little screenshots in here. As you've already pointed out, it definitely looks a lot like a lot of the Legend of Heroes games you've seen in the past. But the interesting thing is that we are seeing that companies are being more invested in actually making games just more permanently available, which I'm so glad for, because we see a lot of the time also some of these other companies, Nintendo, making it harder and harder for us to actually engage and embrace in games from the past. And it's even harder when those games don't have English translations available to them. I understand that businesses need to make money, and that is what it is. But at the same time, I hope that they continue to go down this path. We finally started to see Atlas really embrace bringing a lot of the old school Shin Megami Tensei and the older Persona titles and making them available on modern systems with modern capabilities. And I'm not even talking about like massive remakes like we're seeing Square Enix do with things like Final Fantasy VII Remake / Rebirth, Crisis Core Reunion, Valkyrie Elysium, etc. Just making these games work and be available on a modern platform. And especially if you make them work and available on more eternal platforms like PC, then it means that, especially like Trails of Azure is coming to Steam, if it runs well, even if it only has like a PlayStation 4 and a Nintendo Switch version, and like PlayStation 5 is currently backwards compatible with PlayStation 4 if you have the disc version. And if the PlayStation 6, whenever that comes out, it might not be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4. And if it's not, that is what it is. But it means that it could be easier for these games to find an eternal legacy of being available to gamers that want them to be available if they're available on a platform like Steam. So I'm really happy to see this. I actually just started my Legend of Heroes journey. As limited as my time is, I try to enjoy games for myself when and where that I can. And I actually just started the very first Legend of Heroes game, Trails in the Sky. I don't know if it's the first in the whole franchise. You are welcome to correct me. But in terms of like games that are accessible for the West, I am one of the lucky people that got an early reservation for the Steam Deck and have received my Steam Deck. And let me tell you what, one, that thing is fucking incredible and amazing, and I love it to death. It's awesome, but it is also a incredible RPG machine, because it's just a more powerful Nintendo Switch with a nicer screen and access to the Steam library. And having access to something like Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky and just being able to relax and play it on the Steam Deck, it's awesome. Highly recommend if you are able to get your hand on a Steam Deck, because admittedly, I'm bad at playing JRPGs at my computer. And that's where a lot of these Western ports, like what we're seeing here with Legend of Heroes, are locked to. But I found that I am very good at playing RPGs if I am able to take them on my Switch or take them on my Steam Deck and just hang out and play them. And that's definitely been the case with, like, I got through Disco Elysium that way, and it's just really, really nice. So give me more of the Ratchet and Clank games. Don't make me fire up the PlayStation 3 every time I want to play the Master Collection games. Yeah, no kidding. The Xenosaga? Hello? I will emulate it if I have to, but I don't want to have to. Skies of Arcadia, still locked on the GameCube / Dreamcast. Of course, emulation is absolutely an option, and I do not fault anybody for doing it when those games are not readily accessible and available on modern platforms. Did it get hand-delivered by Gaben? It did not, but that's okay. You know why it's okay? Because it arrived in perfect condition. I have seen some people that, oh man, those poor Steam Decks that are just crunched and crashed and smushed and twisted, and you're like, that sucks. I play all my JRPGs on the Nintendo DS or the PSP. I feel like the handheld mobile platform is, for whatever reason, so beautifully structured for JRPGs. Just something about having it in your hand and being able to just like curl up in a ball, it's like you're reading a book, right? It's an interactive book. You're getting told this wonderful story with these incredible characters. I finished Trails in the Sky semi-recently. Was not fond of the Bracer quests. Mind you, I know they're mostly optional, but I ended up doing them all anyways. I have a problem with that too, Fee, of like, especially telling myself that you don't have to do all the side content. And that can lead to, if you try to do too much of the side content, that it ends up stretching out a JRPG longer than it might have otherwise been, which can make it feel like the JRPG has overstayed its welcome because you just tried to do much into it. I had that problem with Xenoblade 1 really bad. I got myself to not do all of the side content in Xenoblade 2, and it made it much more enjoyable experience. Heading out, Sen, thank you so much for being here. And speaking of heading out, we're going to work on doing the same. So let me know what your thoughts are on Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure or the Legend of Heroes franchise as a whole. I would love to hear from you. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Have you played it? Are you jumping into it? How do you feel about, especially about the work of fan translation on the GeoFront Fan Translation Hub and the work that hopefully was compensated in some way that has led to us receiving this Western release of Trails to Azure. I'd love to hear from you. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep with the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. And speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can watch together live on stream, because we do stream 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you go watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.